people screaming at me to make this video, but I was going to do it anyway, actually. I'm nearly half British. On my mother's side, her father, my grandfather, was a colonel in the Army. I grew up when he was actually a mayor just south of Gainesville. I don't want to say the town. And I used to look at these. He had this made in Germany. He was in the 599th Field Artillery Battalion. This was made for him. He was actually a colonel. And a lot of soldiers back then actually did this. Here's the little eagle emblem that they would make these for soldiers. That's probably lucrative there for a few years in Germany. Afterwards, activated, on and on. Anyway, I inherited this and a couple other mugs after he passed away, but he was English. I look just like him, actually. Now, the title of this video is the UK that's in disgrace and turmoil, and a lot of this stuff, even more heavily so, is going on in Ireland, so I don't want people to think I'm actually ignoring, this happening in Ireland, but I'd like to focus on the UK. And it's not the one incident that happened in Southport, the incident in Southport. And, I shouldn't be calling it an incident. I don't want to call it an incident. You could look up what happened. I mean, it was, absolutely amazing in the worst possible way, but I'm using tame words because this is social media. I don't want to do that, but I am nevertheless. So before you go after me for doing that, I'd like to, if it were you and me face to face, I'd be using some different words. But since this is a video, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It was the last straw. By the way, as a side note, I don't know if you've seen the recent video that's been going around. There's an old guy leaving comments on Facebook about the great evil that's going on in the UK right now. And there's two British officers, well, I should say thugs, but they show up at his door, and they're in his living room. He wants to know if he could take his necessary meds down to the police station. It's just absolutely atrocious. I wonder who you think I'm actually calling a disgrace in the UK. I'm certainly not calling the British citizens a disgrace. I like to go down some points here and be as rational. I don't want to be rational. I'm not an emotional person at all, but the endless. I must have watched at least 24 hours of videos of protests and worse, things that I can't even talk about. That's so awful. It's just really, really disgusting. The only conclusion that you could draw from this, and the Brits are concluding the same thing, is that the UK has taken a hard line against its own citizens. And it will see a serious pushback, and these are the exact words, and I'm in 100% agreement, of a important British citizen. His name is Michael. I forget his last name. Sorry about that. It's not really important. Have you seen the video of the roaming people in the UK? I'm going to use the word people lightly. There's a guy having a pint at a British pub, and they rush around the corner, and I can't even say what happened to the guy after that because this is social media. I apologize for that. I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty here very quickly, but I can't even. It was so awful that I can't even talk about it here on social media, at least this social media anyway. Basically, the folks in the UK and Ireland, and I've heard this literally 1,000 times at least, from people that are sending me emails and the videos, we're not going to take it anymore. And there were some really horrific things, and I've sent some propaganda by British media, and by British media I mean really hardcore lying propaganda British media outlets. Did you see the Musk? Did you see the Musk? Did you see the tweet out by Elon Musk? He tweeted out that this is his exact tweet, Mr. Musk. He said, civil WAR is inevitable. That is the tweet, word for word, from Elon Musk. And the British government, they had a total hissy fit over that, what Elon Musk tweeted out regarding what's going on in the UK. Keir, who's I have absolutely zero respect for, he's current head of, is the PM of the UK. He said some horrible things and he's gaslighting his own citizens, and Musk responded, he said to him, shouldn't you be concerned about attacks on all communities? Musk, as well as apparently most British citizens, at least the ones that have a mind of their own, they're not brainwashed by, the BBC and the Guardian and all the rest of the British propaganda, agree that there's a two-tier policing going on in the UK. They keep getting gaslit and they keep being called far right by Keir. And they're not far right. There's absolutely no indication that they are. It turns out that facts, as far as the British government's concerned, facts have become hatred in the eyes of the government of England. I mean, you can't draw any other conclusion. People that actually care about their neighbors and their community and their children, I emphasize the word, that's not the definition of far right. If you care about your neighbors and your community and, the rugrats of the community, your own and others, that is in no way, shape, or form as gaslit by the UK government, what they're calling these people. They're calling them thugs and far right. I got, over the past 72 hours, 3 emails of lying propaganda, and it's being spread out everywhere. And I've seen it in the Daily Mail, UK. They keep calling the protesters, the people that, worried about their own safety and the safety of their community, far right. This lying and gaslighting is absolutely horrific, and it's actually just stirring up more and more of it. One of them was The Guardian. Now, the emails that I got, and I'm not a British citizen, but they're apparently spreading it out to everybody, right? Saying, all these people protesting and, holding up signs and marching, it's all based on lies. And that's absolutely not only false, but they give no evidence for that. It's just palpably false. Here is what I'm nearly certain is what's going on, is that the UK government is trying to set up the citizenry so they can shut them down. And they've been talking about that, establishing curfews. They want to, if you want to clamp down even harder, and of course the entire country of UK has basically got a camera shoved in it. Every nook and cranny of the UK, seemingly so, and the Brits agree with me, has a camera shoved in it. But they want to clamp down even more. They want to watch everywhere you go, everything you do, and it seems like they're looking, for the citizenry to protest to the point where they can develop an excuse to really, really, really clamp down on you. So, by the way, I saw the video from Nigel Farage, who is blaming Tommy Robinson for a lot of this, and not only is that a hardcore lie, it's just absolutely reprehensible. I don't know what many of you British people think about Nigel Farage, but he just flat out lied about this Tommy person. Yeah, the American over here, meaning me, actually knows about the videos and the stuff that Tommy Robinson. He's been on like countless YouTube videos recently, and apparently he's a political exile in Cyprus. I don't think he's on vacation. He says he's on vacation, but now this Keir guy, the current PM, either this guy is the least intelligent person alive, or, and this is more likely, he's probably both actually, trying to push the British citizenry into action so they can shut them down. He's literally got a stick and he's beating on a hornet's nest, meaning the UK citizenry. They're already reached the last straw, and the British PM You know, he's come up to the hornet's nest. The British citizenry is already upset. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! He's pouring gasoline on it. I've even seen cartoons drawn about this guy pouring gasoline on what's going on. I think there's like 15 protests scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday the 8th. Or is it the 7th tomorrow? Starmer, this guy, Starmer, the PM, said pledges standing army of officers. He said the word standing army several times. Starmer is calling for calling peace-loving UK citizens, British citizens. Hello, Gov. I don't know why people call these people elitists. There's nothing elite about them. Starmer. He's calling his own citizenry far-right thugs. There's nothing far-right about these people that are concerned about their own family and their neighbor. There's nothing either far or right about that. We call that common concern, common sense. This is my own position, and I've watched a lot of stuff. I guarantee you, there's probably not one American in 100 million, easily, that has watched as much stuff and taken in as much information about what's going on. Admittedly, I haven't been there. Okay, I love the British citizenry. I'm part British. Oh, look, it's alive. This guy Starmer is a traitor to his own citizens of the UK. Now, that's a personal position, but you know, the conclusions can't be drawn to any other way that he's a traitor. He keeps calling people that are worried about their own family and their citizenry mindless thugs. He's called them mindless thugs, you know, more than a few times. He said that his British citizens, I said, dear fellow, awful, awful, awful. They said they're going to feel the full force of the law soon. This is pure clown world. This is two-tier justice. I have seen an enormous amount of evidence for two-tier justice in the UK. I mean, it's just undeniable. You know, this guy's got 2 years in jail for, writing a comment on Facebook. And the guy over here that did something extremely awful gets like 180 days of community. I mean, off the Richter scale, 1,000,000 times awful. This guy gets, 100 days of community service, but the British citizen over here that leaves a comment of concern about his fellow citizenry, that guy gets 2 years. Yeah, okay. There's not 2 tiers of justice going on in the UK at all right now. Yeah, there is. He also, too, said, Keir Starmer said, you're likely going to be dealt with within a week. I'm sorry, I can't do that posh accent. Excuse me. He said, these people are likely going to be dealt with within a week's time. This is the amazing thing. He said a lot of amazingly, incredibly awful and evil things against his own citizenry. The British citizens, He said, our first duty is to support the police. I'm pretty sure your first duty is to protect and care about the British citizenry. I'm part British. English. Yeah. I've not been there because it's too expensive. Yeah. My grandfather was a proud Englishman, a colonel in the army. Here's his mug from his service. Yeah, he's got his, I remember this. Make sure not to break this, belonging to my grandfather. He'd been to England, I think, a few times. I can't remember, but, I'd love to visit England. This is just appalling and disgusting. This guy is a traitor to his own citizens. Your first duty is to support... No, your first duty is to protect and care for the citizens of the UK. That's your first duty. The only conclusion, I have to say this again, that you could draw is that the British government despises its own citizens. It is treating them exactly in a reprehensible fashion that is just it's just so awful. He keeps gloating about the fact that he's already arrested 400 plus people and they're hunting down hundreds more. And didn't I see in a video where he's talking about kicking doors down to find, we're gonna get you. Even people are like holding up a sign, you know. There's a quote from George Orwell that says, the further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will despise those who speak the truth. And this is, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, this is coming to the United States as well. Well, the United States has got a couple things that, more than a couple things, that the UK does not have. A few of them are enshrined in the Bill of Rights. I'll let you guess what those are. The citizenry, I'm sorry, not citizenry, I take that back. The subjects of the UK have very, very few rights. I wish that were not true, but it is. I actually stand, and this is going on even more so, if not equally so, in Ireland. But I stand behind, the British and Irish peoples that want to enjoy a peaceful society with their families and with their neighbors. The fact that they're literally throwing gasoline on a fire. These people, I've heard at least 1,000 comments and videos and man, I've on several boards where British citizens are posting. They keep saying, we're fed up with this. We're just fed up. These people, there's nothing far right about them at all. They just want safety and security and calm and peace in their lives, and they've got the opposite of that. And, that they've had it. They themselves, their words, not my words, they said they've had it. And as a result of saying, hey, we've had it, this is it. This is the last straw that broke the camel's back. This is it. And the government of the UK is like, oh, no, you're far white thugs. That's right. That's right. I mean, do you have to be totally devoid of common sense and love for natural order and society and peace and calm to think that these people are, like this Starmer guy here? I mean, once again, this guy is either the least intelligent person alive or he is trying to get these people to stand up for themselves and their family and their communities. Like, oh, look at that! Here we've reached the limit of far-right thuggery. That's right. What we're going to do is we're going to lock you all down, and we're going to mandate digital IDs. So I could see a sensor every block in every direction in 80% of the UK, where you got to like whip your phone out. Like if you walk a block, you got to whip your phone out and it scans your QR codes. Like, okay, it's okay to proceed ahead. It seems like they're actually trying to whip up the British citizenry to force this solution upon them. You create a problem with the reaction you're going to get, and that looks to be what the British government's doing to the citizenry. But I actually here as a United States citizen, I got 3 emails making sure, because they know the information is spread all over the world, making sure that, to tell me, a total lie, by the way, like, hey, what's going on in England right now is a bunch of thuggery based upon lies. As someone that lived in Soviet Russia, and I have first-hand experience of state-sponsored propaganda and lies, I have never in my life, and I've said this many times, seen more hideous propaganda and lies than I have out of the BBC, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, Telegraph. The Brits, Soviet Russia had nothing on the Brits when it came to lies and spin and gaslighting and propaganda. And I've paused many times during this video because I want to say something that I shouldn't say. And I've been tempering myself. If you thought I'd been calm, well, thank you. That was my whole point. I could foam like a rabid dog in this video, but it's not gonna mean anything. Elon Musk, once again, he tweeted out, civil bleep is inevitable. I'd like to know what the British citizen... Man, the UK government was really pissed when he tweeted that out a couple days ago. I'd like to know what you think about that. Or when Musk tweeted out Keir Starmer, he said, shouldn't you be concerned about, you know, the safety? He didn't say safety, he said attacks. Attacks on all communities. I'm sorry, but I'm seeing a mountain of evidence for a two-tier justice system in the UK. And that's another form of gaslighting that really, really, really pisses off the British citizenry. Tell me what you think. I do read every comment. Last video took me 2.5 days to read all the comments, so I'd like to hear from you about this. But this is disgraceful. It's, you know, it's just absolutely nasty. I'm, once again, you know, stand behind, you know, the peace-loving citizenry that want nothing other than safety and security for their family and their fellow citizenry. And what the government in the UK is doing is just absolutely bombastic. There's a word not often used. Bombastic. Atrocious, deplorable, vile, reprehensible, yada, yada, yada. I wonder where things are going to go next over there. People keep talking about the incident that happened in Southport. And I don't have to be a British citizen to know that that wasn't it. That was just the last straw that broke the camel's back, as the saying goes. You know, there is nothing far-right or thuggish about people wanting safety for their family and their fellow citizens. And the fact that the government is calling peace-loving British citizens far-right and thugs, that, girlfriend, is disgusting, awful, repulsive, reprehensible, and there is no room for debate on that, because it is. How dare you want safety and security for your family and your citizens? Well, you're nothing but a thug. Yeah, right. How unintelligent do you have to be to buy into that narrative? Honestly. Jesus jumped up Christ. How unintelligent do you have to be to buy into that? You tell me. All of this is according to plan. They're looking for the reaction. They're trying to elicit the reaction, and that way they can impose the iron fist. Oh, look at that. We need to... Oh, look at the unrest out there on the streets. Well, we need to drop the iron fist. That'll quench it. And when they drop the iron fist, they'll make sure the iron fist stays there in perpetuity. That's right. Oh, we've quenched it. We dropped the iron fist. Everybody's been brought into line. Is that really what you want? It's disgusting. Oy.